School. Just think about what the word school should mean to you. It's the place where a child is for the first time leaving what is hopefully a safe family home, stepping out into the outside world. It's meant to be a place where a child prepares for the world ahead, a place of learning. What if that place becomes a place of trauma? An abused child in school is the stuff of nightmares. Joining us soon to discuss that is a whole group of concerned Bangaloreans. We have parents, students, we have Police Commissioner Raghavendra Auradkar, we also have Revati Ashok of BPAC, lawyer Jana Kothari from the High Court who deals with sexual abuse cases. We also have Dr. Sangeeta who works with sexual abuse cases as well, who talks about awareness of that, and Princess Franklin, the principal of this 150-year-old school, Bishop Cottons as well, one of the leading schools in Bangalore. We have a whole group of people really to talk about this very shortly. Right now, in fact, parents of the school where the child was allegedly assaulted, Vipkyo School, are holding a candlelight vigil. They are holding a candlelight vigil to express their distress about what has happened in that school where they have been sending their children, where they have trusted to send their children. That candlelight vigil going on right now, even as we speak. So we will, of course, be heading into that discussion. But before that, we take a look at the status of the investigation in that terrible case, the assault of a young 6-year-old girl in one of Bangalore's prominent schools. What is the latest on the investigation? That's a report by my colleague, Radhika Iyer.
It was another fun day at school for a grade 1 student on the 2nd of July until 11:30 am. She apparently misbehaved in class when the teacher had asked her to leave the class and stay put in an empty room with some gym equipments as punishment. The school denies this, but from what the 6-year-old girl has revealed, the torture began then. 2 gym instructors allegedly sexually assaulted her. This room is supposedly on the first floor of this particular building, where there are also other classes which function on the very floor. Apparently, the girl returned to the classroom after 25 minutes, looking slightly uncomfortable. An hour later, she complained of severe stomach pain. The mother realized what happened to her daughter only on the 9th of July. A private nursing home hinted that the child could have been sexually assaulted. The parents first approached a helpline and then the police. A case of rape under Section 376 has been registered. While parents demand the strictest of punishment to the perpetrators of this crime, the role played by the teacher has now come under the scanner. While, of course, there is a question on whether this teacher indeed locked her up in an empty room, the sources in the school, of course, claim that the teacher had claimed that the student wanted to excuse herself to go to the toilet. If that is true, why was the teacher not vigilant when the girl returned 25 minutes later?
I was worried about my child because she was in the same class, so I wanted to know who has done it.
Background check is required, a police verification is required, and a proper reference from the previous employee is required.
There are 47 male members working in the school, many of them working on contract for special training in swimming, dance and other activities. Some complain that 2 gym instructors who appear to be the main accused even took pictures of girl students.
Government is taking all necessary steps.
Reports of the medical tests the 6-year-old underwent are awaited. Radhika Iyer in Bangalore, NDTV.
So what really is the responsibility of schools? Parents send their children there in trust. First of all, let's just cross to that candlelight vigil to take a look at what is happening there on the ground at the candlelight vigil where the parents are actually holding that vigil.
There is light even in darkness, literally so. We're coming to you from an isolated area where, of course, Vibgyor International School is located. This is the school which reported the case of a horrific alleged rape of a 6-year-old child. Parents are out on the street. They've been taking the fight forward, not just for this 6-year-old, but for students at large whose safety perhaps is at stake. Let me ask you, sir, I saw a lot of fathers who left work for the day, took a day off to participate in this movement, which has now become like a campaign. What is the way forward? What is it that you're demanding at this stage?
We need justice. The school licenses needs to be blocked, and they have to resolve the issue and open the school.
Ma'am, what is the way forward? I know that on Saturday there's going to be a huge, massive protest. What's the way forward?
I would say first of all, I personally would start telling my child. I have a 3.5-year-old child. I'll start telling her first, be comfortable with me, because in this case I think child kept quiet could be various reasons, but you need to have a relationship with your child so that your child come back to home and tell you what happened in the school.
Sure. Let there be more reporting of such cases.
I think that bonding has to be developed between the parents and the kids, right? That I think my wife does it very regularly, being over there. And secondly, I think in this case particularly, that management is not able to accept that such crime has happened over here.
Well, we'll be trying once again to speak to the Police Commissioner, Raghavendra Auratkar. So you were telling us, sir, about whether there were any particular guidelines for the schools to actually follow when they're looking after these precious children.
See, as far as the transportation is concerned, there is a Supreme Court judgment about the bus and the safety inside the bus and other issues. Regarding the guidelines about the safety inside the school, we had given it in 2013 and 2012 also, and even in 2014 when there was in a preschool when a child was raped in January. Yes. We had given some guidelines, but they are yet to be implemented by many schools.
Not yet implemented. Are you following up? Are you monitoring that?
We are monitoring it, but the main department for this is the education department. Okay. They are the department who have to follow these who have to enforce this. Again, we are going to have a meeting in the government shortly with the education department and the home department and other departments to enforce these guidelines.
Princess Franklin, you're the principal of a school here. What do you feel about the responsibility of schools to the students? Are you in total charge once the child steps into your school bus?
Yes, it is the responsibility of the school, because once the child enters into the school, it is the school's responsibility to look after the safety of the children. And I cannot do it alone. It's a challenge because the number is about 3,000 plus. But I always do it as a team with my teaching staff, the coordinators, and the student body, the prefect body which is seated here. All of us take responsibility. So it is our responsibility, and we are looking after the safety of the children.
Okay, are parents satisfied really with the role of what schools should be doing to look after your precious children? Do schools sometimes absolve themselves of responsibility?
No, I don't think so. This school definitely has lived up to its mark, and we have had no problem or difficulty over the past 20 years when my children were studying here. Okay. Hats off to them.
All right. Now, what do you feel should be the responsibilities of a school towards the children it is looking after?
The responsibility should be that once the child is in the campus, there should be some systems in place of pick up and drop of the kid, okay, and an assigned person who the school is aware of. There should be a background check essentially done. And I think at the end of it all, the parents need to be really on top of the game to educate the child, okay, before they start in an institution.
The parents have a role to play too. It's also up to the parents. What should the parents be doing? What could they be doing to keep their children safe?
I think we should initially educate them, tell them what to be aware of, where they should be going, whom they should be speaking to, whom they shouldn't go with, you know, and be in the school, not step out, not to talk to strangers. As a small child, we start educating them in that way, and we should continue, I feel.
Okay, now you spoke about parents actually educating the children, telling them what should be done. Now that is of course a very, very sensitive issue, the issue of how much do you tell a young child, how much do you tell a child what to look out for? I don't think anybody wants to live in a world where child sexual abuse is a reality, but it is. Dr. Sangeeta, you have been working with raising awareness about sexual abuse. How early should a child be spoken to about this kind of thing?
So this is like teaching the child rules of social behavior. So just as you teach a 2-year-old how to say namaste to a person who enters a house, like that you have to teach people, children, how to be safe and about personal safety. So it begins at the age of as young as 2 years, when you're naming the parts of the body please do name these parts. If you're not comfortable saying anatomical English names, say something as simple as susu place and potty place. And say that we keep these parts covered in front of others. That's just a social rule, not because there is any shame in the body. No. It is because it's a social rule for our safety. We keep this covered. We do not touch these parts in front of others. And these rules we follow for ourselves and for others. So we do not touch others in this age.
As parents, are you comfortable talking to children as young as 2 years old about such issues?
Well, not really. The central thrust in this issue is the rape and rapist per se. Not about what Dr. Sangeeta said. I might not have that much impact. But then I think power doles out these criminals of penalty, and punishment has to be oppressive. In my opinion, this is what the thrust is.
No doubt, of course, that people should be held accountable. But the risk of exposing children to such things, do you feel that you would be able to tell your child at the age of 2 years old to watch out, to be careful?
We may not be able to say it, but the situation today is as such that we are forced to do it. We are forced to tell our children to be careful of family members, of neighbors, and today it has come to teachers. So it looks like we're living in a society of monsters, because we are even telling them be careful of the people at home. So it is a very sad situation. So we are forced to tell children even at the age of 2.
We have some young students here, in fact some school students as well. This is a very, very difficult issue really. Do you have sex education in school? Are you informed about these issues, and have you been cautioned by either family or school? What is good, what is bad?
About sex education, yes, in 7th we were educated about it and we were warned about some things, but yeah, basically we are.
But you think that's a good thing? You think it should happen?
Yes, I do think it's...
All right. And yeah, one more student there. What are your thoughts on this? Do you feel uncomfortable, or do you think it's something which should be happening in schools?
It's something which should definitely be happening in schools. As Megha said, when we were in 7th, we had a counselor. She used to come, she used to talk to us about relationships with, male relatives. And the best part about that was she said we could go up to her and discuss any problem we are facing. So it is very important, because we really need to know. As children, someone should tell us what is right and what is wrong. And we depend on all of you all for that.
This terrible case which happened, for example, telling young children to be careful, do you have any final words? There are some parents clearly who sort of feel that perhaps they would not be comfortable directly talking to their children.
So you don't have to mention the 3-letter word, but all you can say is these are personal safety rules. Say no to a person who breaks the rules. Come away from that place. Come and tell a trusted adult, and go on telling until you find help. The person who is breaking your safety rules is doing something wrong and shameful, not you.
Yes, exactly. There's that element of stigma which is attached. Mr. Aradkar, do you feel that sometimes these cases are in fact underreported because of a sense of stigma which is unfairly associated with the victim of a crime?
Yes, it used to happen, but thanks to the awareness that is created in the recent past, nowadays people are coming forward to report such heinous and very, very condemnable acts. It is a good development that people are coming forward and they are becoming bold. That is a very good development.
That is a good development. Now, Jenu Kothari, you're a lawyer who has dealt with such terrible cases, really. Do you agree there are people coming forward, or is there really a lot of hesitation before going to the law? Because we have seen in recent cases, police may not always take it as seriously as the victim would like.
I think it is increasing, reporting is increasing, but there are still a lot of cases where people do not report, especially with young girls, where there are a lot of cases of sexual assault. There is a lot of stigma and family and social pressure where people don't report. And I think we need to increase support for people who report. There has to be increased support in police stations where support is given, that instead of being, attacked, saying that what were you doing out and what were you doing in such a place, there should be a sense of support and help to victims to come out and report.
Because Mr. Aradkar, that is a criticism you must have heard very often, that policemen are not sensitive enough when it comes to taking down these complaints. We had that recent case in Frasertown where cases of rape and kidnapping were not even added to the initial FIR. How do you sensitize your own policemen?
Yes, there are some people, I agree, because the recent case itself has showed that, but efforts are already on in the department to sensitize the people, and I must say that Karnataka is well ahead in sensitizing our policemen with the help of many NGOs and all. But policemen are also part of the society, so it takes some time. But we are also moving ahead with the time, and we are sensitizing the people. And I fully agree with Madam that support system from the police station is also required. And
are you training your policemen in any ways? Are there any special sensitization courses going on for such cases?
Yes, we are doing it. There is a separate wing in the police department, training wing, and every month at least a batch is trained. And we appoint them as a special juvenile police officers, and so many. There are different things, legal issues. I don't want to tell that, go into the details, but we are doing those. We are undertaking those measures.